Hello everyone, I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. Last episode, we completed the proving, or whatever it was called, and managed to, unfortunately, kill some other combatants. With that, we've proven ourselves, and our next task is to get, artifacts for the three faces. Well, at least one of them. Seeker, Slayer, Survivor. We've managed to go onto the island, and we're going to go search for the Seeker first, here at the Kohatakana Expanse. The deeper you travel into the island's southwestern wilds, the denser the jungle becomes. The air thickens, heavy with humidity, and the impenetrable canopy allows only the faintest light from the sky above. The path narrows into gloom before you, the persistent drone of insects subsiding into soft whispers on the edge of hearing. A twig snaps in the distance. "You hear that?" Constantine asks. Silence falls. The dwarf hugs his arms around himself and frowns. "Gives me the goddamn creeps." Enter the forest. Tendrils of gray fog creep across the roots and vines, slowly rising, reaching, as you push further into the island's expanse. The air grows opaque, and quiet murmurs carry on the faint breeze. Just as it reaches its thickest, the foggy morass parts like a curtain, revealing again the path before you. It forks to the left and right, each path looking roughly as passable as the other. Adair? There is no hint of tracks here, neither animal, wilder, or kith, as if this trail has never before been traveled. The paths to either side seem uncannily similar, almost symmetrical, as if a pane of glass runs between them, one the reflection of the other. The trees bend above like long, many-jointed legs, and their limbs entwine with vines into an impenetrable tangle. Let's try the right trail. You follow the trail, and quiet rustling sounds murmur from the obscurity of the undergrowth. The path forks again before you. Between the two paths, you find a simple statue, a stone pedestal topped with the many-eyed face of the Seeker. Examine it. The statue has clearly been standing at this fork for ages, the lines weathered, the details worn away by the elements. Moss grows around the base, and vines hang down from the spider-like head. The Seeker's eyes stare at you, unblinking. Yet everything about the sculpture, down to the draping foliage, seems impossibly symmetrical. Everything except the one eye missing from the statue's left side. Interpret its meaning. The Seeker is rendered with an eye missing, or perhaps the eye has been removed since, the statue defaced by some other contestant in the island's games. Jody examines the figure. "Strange, isn't it? The Seeker being presented as blinded. Partially so, anyway. Think the Seeker's cult respects the blind any more than the Slayers the feeble." I'm going to take this one that is seen. Take the right trail. The jungle grows darker as you press ever more deeply into its heart. The path forks again before you, and while the split looks slightly similar to the last, you can tell it bears enough differences to suggest you're making progress. Between the two paths, you find a simple statue, a stone pedestal topped with the many-eyed face of the Seeker. Interpret it. The Seeker is rendered with an eye missing again. Okay, take the left trail. The jungle grows darker as you press ever more deeply. Path forks again, you're making progress. Another face. Examine it. Yet everything about the sculpture down to left side, so left trail. No, right trail. You continue into the growing gloom. To every side grow gargantuan trees, their upper branches disappearing into the darkness above, and the path winds among their bases, each as broad as a castle's turret. The path separates again, but this time there's no plinth and no bust of the Seeker. Instead, you find a third path, central between two others. While the paths to either side appear almost reflections of one another, the central path looks cramped and overgrown. It descends into a dark cave. Center trail. You enter the cave, making your way through the winding darkness. For a time, you hear nothing save your own breathing, but then the whisper of insects draws you forward, growing gradually until it almost sets the air to humming. 21 hours passed. The cave disgorges you into the jungle, though the darkness is so deep you do not at first realize you've emerged. The chittering of mandibles and movement of heavy, many-jointed limbs echo above and around you. Search for enemies. You see nothing to attack and nothing likely to attack you. Continue cautiously forward. The path broadens before abruptly terminating in a broad open clearing. For a moment, it seems as if the jungle itself is aglow, each tree limbed in faint green, but then you see the source of the illumination, a skull almost afire with soul energy. You get no chance to retrieve it, however, as spiders descend upon you from the darkness above. Alright, spider fight! Spiders shouldn't be too bad. Let's head on in.
Ready to brawl?
Oh yeah, those weaverlings are already almost completely dead. Wow. You didn't even really need to summon that, but thank you. All that leaves is a dire weaver. Also, which song are you doing? You're doing A. Good. Oh, there's still some weaverlings there, and down goes one, and there goes the other.
Let's go.
Alright, everyone to that one. Oh, you're immobilized, that's why. The spiders immobilized you, that explains it. And now you're not. And down goes the weaver. That was relatively easy. Oh no, there's more weaverlings. I looked away for a second and oh god. Don't worry, we can finish them. And perfect. Well done. Alright, well, only thing left here. Oh. A soul shimmers before you, her faint glow unreflected by the trees. Flowing gossamer silks sheathe her form, and long black tendrils of hair crown her head.
Do you see her too?
The Crucible still serves its purpose, bringing Galawains devoted to battle, bringing battle to Galawains devoted. But a wound, a tear, festers in the heart of this place.
Who are you?
I ask you to risk life and limb in the Crucible. But the desired outcome is not your death. The future of this place depends upon you seeking the champion's crown. Souls that prowl this island writhe in disharmony. Without your help,
The image falls silent as the woman's form loses definition. In the span of a breath, the apparition dissipates entirely, her words unfinished.
Oh, where'd she go? Hello, spirit lady?
Any idea who that was?
Not a clue. Perhaps she was the Seeking Face. Or perhaps some other poor soul trapped here on Kazuwari.
Do you sense the turmoil she spoke of?
Not really, but I don't feel trapped here. Exactly. Not like she does. I came willingly, after all. Died willingly, I mean. And I've got you, right?
Well, let's go then.
Perhaps if we complete the other trials, we'll find similar spirits. And hopefully they'll be a touch more cheerful.
Indeed. Alright. Well, I doubt there's really going to be anything around here. Well, I gotta look. I have to look. When did you get oh, right. No. There was that one wounded from the bridge. Okay, never mind. Okay. Well, with that one done, let's go take a look for the Slayer at Wahakupoko Loveld. Let me just drop a save first. Alright, let's see about finding this group. The forest thins into scattered glades along the western cliffs of Kazuwari. Trees stand sentinel overlooking the sheer stone plunge into the Deadfire Sea. You turn north, only to enter a large open field ringed with woods and peppered with small clumps of dense forest. Clouds of insects hum over the rotting remnants of discarded carcasses. The path before you looks roughly disturbed. Investigate the scene. Though it's difficult to discern from the chaotic wreck of dirt and grass, it seems like multiple sets of kith tracks came from the direction you did and continued towards the coast to the northwest. Another set of tracks, these from some manner of clawed beast, come from inland and follow the same path as the kith tracks. Examine the beast tracks. The tracks appear to have been left by a Stelgar, a very large Stelgar. The tracks overlap the kith tracks and are overlapped by them in turn. It seems the creature was stalking those who would stalk it. Examine the kith tracks. 4 different sets of tracks appear, including a set that look Orlan. The others are more difficult to narrow down to a specific type of kith. The tracks seem pretty close together, as if those who left them were moving slowly and carefully. Follow the kith tracks. The kith tracks bend around the field, largely following the tree line. You stop short as you come upon a scene of carnage. Congealed blood pools on the ground and gore spatters the nearby trees. Flies cloud the air. Investigate the tracks. The receding tracks part in opposite directions. One pair cuts directly west, towards the edge of the island. These are evenly spaced and far apart, the length of the strides and directions the toes are pointed, suggesting the kith was running. The other pair trails along to the north. The print suggests one leg dragged behind the other, and the ground is spattered with drops of blood. Adair points out a thin coating of silvery dust coating the nearby leaves. Somebody threw a spark cracker, probably as a distraction. Follow the wounded kith's tracks. They're probably... Examine the carnage. You identify the remains of 2 kith, one in Amawa, the other folk, probably. The pair have been rent by claws and chewed extensively, some of their limbs largely cleaned of bone. Though little save remains of most of their equipment, you find a few salvageable goods, including a ruined token from the arena. Alright. Search for the presence of spirits. You open yourself to the presence of wandering souls, but find none. The forest does, however, almost glow with ambient essence. Alright, let's go to the wounded one. The kith's trail leads north along the winding path through the forest. Every few feet you find blood smeared across a leaf or pooled within a footprint. The steps grow increasingly close to one another as you follow them, and you find dried blood cresting some of the trees. Then, ahead of you along the path, you make out a figure seated in the shade of a thick-trunked tree. The dwarf isn't moving. We have a spyglass. Through the lenses of the spyglass, you can make out the faint rise and fall of the dwarf's chest. His beard is matted with blood, and he cradles one arm close to his chest. Approach it. You make it to the tree and find a solidly built dwarf clinging to a small pack. One swollen eye opens and gazes through you. The hunter's voice rasps through dry lips.
I am Slayer of Champion.
Examine his wounds. Bone and viscera are clearly visible within the rents in his armor and skin. You're pretty sure that his liver is sliding out of his belly. The incredible thing is that he's held out as long as he has. Heal him. You can? Oh, so you can. The magic washes over the hunter without much apparent effect. He's beyond magical healing. Search for the creature that hurt him. You make to backtrack along the kith's trail. You're not sure what it is. Perhaps the rustling of grass that's just a tad too intense to be the wind, or the way each of these corpses seems to have gotten only a little further than the last. But you have the unfathomable feeling that you're being watched. Or perhaps stalked. Run for the tree line. Discarding caution, you bolt towards the forest cover. Several somethings pound through the grass behind you. The long grass thins out as you race beneath the forest canopy. A glance over your shoulder confirms that there's nothing in immediate pursuit, and you slow to catch your breath. You catch glimpses of muscular furred forms moving between the trees. Give the lurkers a slip. You're not entirely sure what Constantine intended to accomplish by throwing that rock into the woods, but what happens is a raging storm of claws, fangs, and fur pounces on your companion from the underbrush. Its claws gouge long tears in Constantine's side before it leaps away from you. They stalk towards you. Okay, that didn't work very well. I have a fucking bot. Well, we got foes to deal with.
After him.
You run and get away from them. Thank you. Now then. This will be effective. And not really hurt us. There, that weakened a bunch of them. Oh, that big one just vanished. Not really a good thing. Oh, there it is! Hi! Ow. You really need to get away from there. Yeah, get away. Much better. Oh, you can't cast any spells. Abilities are disabled. That's definitely not good. Primal Roar did it. Okay. Savage Tiger. Finish that one off. Constantine is badly wounded. Actually, you shouldn't be casting that there. Cast it there. That'll do. Please finish off that tiger. And now for the Stelgar. And it's down. Okay, that hurt a lot, but we survived. Cinder Shard. I guess we got it. Oh, another spirit. As the bright glow approaches, the rhythm of a heartbeat, not your own, thumps in your head. The light coalesces into the muscular features of a hulking Amawa striding towards you.
Oh, God!
The spirit shrinks away from the glow with a terrified yelp.
Water!
The soul roars as if in challenge. He points a thick-gloved finger at you.
I wanted tougher, but you will suffice.
Who are you?
Who are you? I am the Slayer, the fastest and the strongest. That you had to ask speaks ill of your mind.
Another, a woman in robes, also revealed herself to me.
I'm not here to speak of her. Let her seek elsewhere. Return your trophy to the old man. There is much left ahead of you to hunt, and far more to kill.
The lines of his face lose what definition they possessed, blurring into a featureless mass until the entirety of his form evaporates into thin air.
Well, wasn't he fun?
He seems to want us to kill someone. Or something.
Do you think this is why Gallowayne didn't want you here? Maybe the Slayer wants you to kill the gods.
Any idea who he was?
He suggested he was the slaying face. Or at least the Slayer. Poor attitude aside, he knew of Ingari, and he knew what you're up to. You should be careful.
Let's go then.
I wonder if we'll run into more like him if we continue with these trials.
So that leaves the Survivor. I feel like we could have gotten more out of where we went, but... And we could have done better. But this is what it is. And Constantine is wounded. We're definitely going to need to rest when we get back. That said, time to head to Tiebe o Waiapu. Let me drop a save first. Alright, on to the Survivor Challenge. Well, not challenge, but... A long, arid expanse stretches before you, bordered on either side by dry, jagged cliffs. A handful of sharp-leafed trees and scraggly shrubs share the landscape, but the miles are otherwise desolate. In the glowing darkness, you make out a faint red glow among high among the stony promontories. Thoughts? Adair frowns down the length of the gorge. Not looking forward to it, but the only way we are getting to the end of this valley is through it. Jody? Surely this is a test from the gods. Fine, I'll prove my devotion and my endurance anytime. Constantine? Constantine peers into the valley and frowns. Looks like a lonely place to die. Aloth? If you're really asking, I'd just as soon we didn't. But you're not really asking, are you? You wonder what you think, but only you can answer that. Well, we have the spyglass. You set your spyglass southwards toward the distant peaks. Through the lenses you see no reddish light at all. You lower the instrument and the strange illumination reappears. Perhaps it's a natural illusion, some trick of the atmosphere. Press into the valley. You pick your way among the dry bones and thorny brush. You swipe at stinging insects and scare off hissing lizards. The land itself seems set against you. The valley narrows for a time to the point where only two kith can walk abreast. You approach an ancient structure of stacked stones. The stones appear precarious. Blasted apart with magic. May as well. With a resounding blast of arcane might, the stones are knocked from their perches and fall into the ground below. You pass through without difficulty. You still with me? Adair frowns, working at a bandage with dirty fingers. I'll live yet. At least we're getting closer to the end of this place. Check on the glow. You have made some progress down the valley, but the light still seems distant. Jody? Hands on her lips, panting, Jody shakes her head. It didn't matter if I had scrapes, bruises, or bones poking out of my skin. Uncle Angbert always told me the same darn thing. Walk it off. So don't you worry about me. I'll keep on going right up until I'm dead. Constantine? Yeah, doing well. Doing swell. Constantine wipes sweat from his brow and grimaces. Alof? Alof frowns peevishly. That depends. Is there a purpose to this trek? And more importantly, a cool glass of palm wine and a long, warm soak at the end of it? Press further in. You continue on, forging ahead against the hostile environment. The rocks shift above you, then tumble down the cliffside. Leap to Jody's defense, definitely. You knock Jody out of the way, avoiding the falling rubble entirely. Still with me? Yeah, same thing. You've traveled quite far into the valley. It seems to stretch as far behind you as it does ahead. Further in. You continue on, forging ahead against the hostile environment. As you make your way forward, the pebbled earth shifts out from under you, plunging you into a hidden crevasse. Constantine grabs you and hauls you back up to solid ground. Constantine brushes the dirt from you before you continue on. Check on the glow. You've traveled quite far into the valley. It seems to stretch as far behind you as it does ahead. Further in. A wide crevasse opens before you, spanned by a line of old rope. We can shimmy across. You shimmy across the gorge without difficulty. Alright, further in. A boulder blocks the path, and you have to push it out of the way. You succeed, but as it rolls aside, it crushes Constantine's hands. Cradling hands to chest, Constantine begins to lag behind. And he was injured. Great. Press further. Check on the glow. Doesn't seem like it can be far now. Press further in. You continue on, forging ahead against a hostile environment. The darkness falls as you continue deeper into the valley. The footing seems to even more treacherous in the gloom, and soon enough, Adair slips and falls, head knocking hard against the stone ground. You help your companion up, only to be waved off. I'm fine. But Adair's progress is notably slowed. Okay. Doesn't seem like it can be far. You find the valley partitioned off by a veritable wall of dry brambles. Burn them! Alof's blaze clears the path ahead of you, but a flaming branch falls upon your companion. With a groan, your companion resolves to carry on. I think we're finally almost there. How are you holding out? You continue on, forging ahead. As you push forward towards your goal, what initially seems like a heavy blush of exertion across Alof's face grows into an increasingly weeping rash of broken sores. Well, we have a healer. Soothe it. The sores resist the magical attempts to treat. Concoct a salve, then. It takes time to find the right herbs, but soon Alof's boils and sores have been soothed. Alright, press further in. Sweat-soaked and utterly exhausted, Alof begins to lag behind, muttering quietly about putting one foot before the other. How are you holding out? she'll still press on. You continue on, forging ahead against a hostile environment. As you trudge along the valley floor, the sun beats down on your party, blistering Jodi's skin. You notice your companion begin to slow behind you. I'm the only one left. Press further in. You continue on. When you finally reach the end of the valley, it almost comes as a surprise. The cliffs loom above you, crowned by their faint red illumination. Or perhaps that's simply the glow of the setting sun. Check your group. Though the remainder of your party lags some ways behind, they're more or less keeping pace. Throw a grappling hook up. You lob a grappling hook up the side of the cliff, securing it around a tree growing out of the rock face above. Sigh. You feel slightly better. Climb the rope. After the ordeal that lies behind, the climb up the rock face seems almost relaxing. You're alone at the top of the promontory when you hear something moving around a nearby rock. Wait and observe. The red glow grows as its source comes into view, a necklace crafted from a shard of vermilion Adra. The necklace hangs from the tusk of one of the largest boars you've ever seen. Okay, and I'm alone. Hi. The large boar, its quills bristling, snorts and stamps its hoof.
That's a big pig.
The beast is taller than you are and much heavier, all muscle, bone, and tusk. Who's a good boar? Who's a good little-ish boar? The boar clomps over, eyeing you warily. It sniffs at you, then snorts. Pet the boar. The boar cringes slightly as you move to scratch it behind the ear, but as you pet it, it relaxes, pressing its head into your palm, softly nuzzling at your belly. Take the necklace from the boar's tusk. The boar blinks quizzically as you remove the necklace from its tusk. Okay. Hello again. The wispy, shimmering form of an Amawa approaches you cautiously, their posture crouched and wary. Numerous scars and burns dot the soul's lanky limbs, but their face is a diffuse blur, devoid of defined cheekbones and jaws.
An Amawa soul. Do you see him? Or her? Them?
So that may live.
The figure gesticulates as if to speak, but only distorted fragments reach your senses. Another, a woman in robes, also revealed herself to me.
The seeking face lurks above the slaughter she helped create. Learn from that relic. Grow as hard as it, that you may live to restore the crucible.
The figure lurches forward, its posture urgently pleading, but no words are spoken, and the form dissipates into nothing.
Well, that happened.
Any idea who that was?
Hard to say. The surviving face, perhaps, or a soul connected to it.
Were you able to understand it any better than I was?
I speak spirit, not crazy. It's like it was reaching out from somewhere far away.
Let's go then.
I'll bet we learn more by completing the trials.
Most likely. Well, we can get out of here, and we're going to need to return in order to take care of what needs to be taken care of. First, though, we're going to need to rest. So we're going to head back, rest, to recover our health, and then I'm going to end the episode, most likely. First things first, we got a burial site we can recover things from. Alright. Nothing of value. Some shells, paradots, and that's it. Okay, head back to the Crucible. We're gonna go and rest, and then see about turning these things in and get on the next challenges. So yeah, first things first, head over here, we need rest. I wonder if, since we've actually completed the proving, we'll get something else. Another option for resting.
Ado, contender, what can have got?
Nope, just the hammocks. Alright, and with that, I am going to end this episode here. Next episode, we'll turn in the pieces and see what we can get and what challenges we'll be dealing with next. Till then, I am Chester44, also known as Fly. That is Laniara, Adair, Joti, Constantine, and Aloth. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, and I shall see you all next time.